Last night, as I was laying in bed, praying and doing my best to go to sleep, I was made aware of how tense my body was. I was just laying there, completely locked up. Fear of not having enough money to pay the bills, fear of what could be happening with one of my kids, fear of not being able to see my dad soon. Just worry and fear. I whispered, "Please, Lord, take this from me." As I was praying, I felt the tension melt away and I was finally able to fold into the bed. I felt relief. I quietly started to recite Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Repeatedly until I drifted off, praying, talking, and just reminding myself that all of my fears mean nothing as I sit with him. Many of you know that I love to watch movies, and often I can take life lessons from them. I've told the story of how God used Spider-Man to get my attention before, and when worry creeps in, I am reminded of the Tom Hanks movie, Bridge of Spies. In the movie, Tom Hanks plays James Donovan, a lawyer hired to defend an arrested Soviet spy, Rudolph Abel, played by Mark Rylance. Abel is obviously in hot water, in danger of losing his life from both the Americans and the Soviets. Repeatedly, people ask Abel, "Aren't you worried?" To which he consistently replies, "Would it help?" The brilliance of this simple reply demonstrates how, in fact, worry doesn't offer any resolution other than angst. No situation has ever been altered or repaired because of worry. When I was a kid, there were some scary situations that I can remember being in when we lived in the Philippines. During one of the more violent coup attempts, our family had to evacuate our home. The fighting was taking place between two military bases that surrounded our subdivision. Kids here get snow days. There we had school canceled because of coups. I can remember going up on the roof, watching the fighter jets drop bombs on the other camp, and seeing massive tanks crawl down the road. I was scared. For weeks after that coup attempt, whenever I shut my eyes, I just heard tanks rolling down the streets, machine guns being shot, and bombs going off. I could not rest. My heart was tormented, and my body was too. The coup attempt was over, but it was still alive and well in my thoughts. I was uneasy and scared and couldn't escape the sounds. Finally, one night, I went to my dad and confessed to him how scared I was. As the fears and words tumbled out, the tears flowed faster and harder. Eventually, he pulled me in and I crawled up next to him. As I rested against him, with him patting my back in his special way, the fears subsided as I let it all out. He has a special way of patting our backs. It's one of the most soothing things I can remember from my childhood. I felt safe whenever my dad was there, holding on to me that way. I also love the imagery that Psalms 23 provides for us when David says, "You anoint my head with oil." Did you know that a shepherd anoints their sheep's head with oil to provide a barrier? Little gnats and bugs can crawl into a sheep's ear canal and eventually burrow into their brain. As one might guess, this could drive a sheep mad. The same is true for you and me. When our shepherd anoints our head with oil, he is providing with us a layer of protection, a barrier against the lies of Satan. Has Satan ever burrowed his way into your head? Told you you weren't loved, redeemed, special, or created with a purpose? A person who pays too much attention to those little spiritual gnats could soon go mad. His promises are like soothing oil to our bruised hearts. Isaiah 43:1 says, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you." As I lay in bed last night, thinking of all the things that had me locked up, I am reminded of that time from my childhood. And remembering how my dad always protected us, I am brought face to face with how our shepherd watches over us too. He pulls us in and lets us crawl up next to him and anoints our heads with oil. When turmoil and strife strike fear or hurt into our hearts, I think about how special it is that we can crawl up next to God and let him watch over us while we sleep. When you can rest in your shepherd's arms, the schemes of Satan will have no power over your heart. When asked if you're worried, you'll be confidently able to answer, "Would it help? I am his." Don't forget how beloved you are. Love, Reneé.